Guys, this is Level 12 here. We're going to be talking about CO2 versus HPA, and if it's between HPA and nitrogen. Okay. Here is a HPA tank. I would use my guns. I would bring my guns to the shell to show you which guns can use what. So I don't have them because they're actually at the shop. I should have gotten them yesterday, but I didn't. Okay. Difference between a CO2 tank, and I'm sorry I don't own a CO2 tank, and I never will own a CO2 tank. Don't try and convince me to buy a CO2 tank, because I'm just not going to buy one. Why do I buy a CO2 tank if I already have 48-4500? Alright, differences. Let's talk about how they're filled. CO2 tank filled through the threads. It's filled through up to here. HPA tank, I have a fill nipple cover with a leash on there, so they're actually filled through the fill nipple. So air goes in here, goes down. Air goes up through here, goes out. Has a gauge, has 2 burst discs. I might do some crap on this, but yes, it's possible to put a gauge on a CO2 tank to show you how much CO2 you have left. Warg has done it, and I wish I didn't have to bring up his name, but you know, you might not know. Warg died. It's a sad thing to say. To think of. Rip. Anyway, they come with pressure gauges that have 2 burst discs. They come with a bonnet. Okay, this is the bonnet. This is the regulator. And this is the tank. These tanks are rated 45K. Or, I'm sorry, not 45K. That's the burst discs are rated. This is rated for 4,500 PSI. And sometimes you can actually fill them with a 5,000. Not a great idea. I've seen tanks tanks like these filled up to 45,000. I don't know why though. You can definitely upgrade the regulators. They are a little bit expensive though. A little bit expensive. If you guys don't know what this is a tank, saver. You can put these on CO2 tanks and HPA tanks. So, CO2 tank doesn't have a gauge. Well, basically what a CO2 tank is, it's a long tank. This is it's like this tank shaved off about from here to here. You guys don't know what it looks like. And, basically, this has this valve and just comes straight up. Doesn't have any of this, doesn't have this. It has one of these burst discs. Let's just see these devices. It's not a 2-piece valve like this is. This is the valve, this is the regulator down here, I think. Yeah, I think that's it. 850 PSI comes out through here. Random amounts of CO2 come out through CO2 tank. So pretty much what happens is you screw your CO2 tank in, and this is the fault of CO2. The no-nos of using CO2. So okay. So you have a 9-8. It's not mine though. I'm not using that in the video because it's not mine. So you screw your tank in like this. You hear the air. Then what happens is, let me test something. I just want to try this. That's awesome. That's really sick. Guess your photograph for the Odin. I don't know if you've seen my video for these Odin, but it's an awesome gun. So I'm going to use this as a pointer. Yes. Okay. So you screw your tank in. When you tilt your gun down. Let's just say this is a CO2 tank. Now it is an HPA tank. Let's just say it's a CO2. So when we fill it up, it comes from here. Bottom half of CO2 in the tank is not the bottom. The actual bottom is 2 inches. Is CO2. The bottom. So fill with liquid CO2. What you do? You pour your tank down. This pin right here is punctured. So you're allowing CO2, liquid CO2, all different types of liquid CO2 and the actual air source. It's tasteless and not smellless, I think. Can't smell it. So comes down in here and it leaks into your gun. Oh fuck it, let me get that. Alright, we're gonna do this again. Turn this so it's batch chicken. I'm not get it all the way in now. Okay. What happens is, as you have liquid CO2, comes from here, comes down into. This isn't aired up yet though. So now you have all this liquid CO2 that's going into your ASA. Comes into the ASA, goes up into here, goes into your power chain, into your power tubes. So now since it's in your power tube, that's not good. So you get velocity spikes. So you start pulling the trigger. So then what happens is you get a huge velocity spike. I'm not saying it goes up to like 700 feet per second. I'm saying you're shooting about 265 to 285. Now you're shooting up to 320 to 340. That's a huge spike. Not good. Especially when you're using a response trigger on like I am. Well, he is. On a 98, you will get you'll feel some pain. It's gonna hurt. Another thing, when you have liquid CO2 going down in the gun, what happens is you get the air. This is basic knowledge. You have pressurized air. You have this cold gas go up into the chamber. It comes back into here. So you have this cold gas. Let me do it here so you can see. So you have this cold gas right here in this chamber right here. You pull that trigger, you get all this ice on the ball. So you have a velocity spike plus ice behind the ball because it's actually. So what happens is you have this liquid CO2. It hits the air. Hits also the air. So what happens is it gets and turns into ice. So the bolt's punching ice, and it's pushing the ice, and it's pushing the paintball that's shooting 340 feet per second. That's gonna hurt somebody. It's really gonna hurt bad, and I'm glad I'm not the one getting shot by that. Especially if you're at good aim. You can use CO2 on this gun. It's recommended from Pitman to use CO2 and HPA. It's not recommended for me. You can use CO2. You want to get expansion chamber, which is supposed to go right here. I know it's supposed to go here, but they discontinued that way of doing it. It's a shitty world. I don't like that. Now they're supposed to go up in here, because that is proprietary shit. I'll talk about that another time. But the way you can prevent liquid CO2 from happening is that you always keep your gun pointed up. I know some people say you need to point it down and say, ref, I'm using CO2. I don't want liquid CO2 going up into my gun. Can I please have it pointed up? I have the barrel stock on. You know, all that dog shit. Suck up to the ref. I don't give a fuck. You know, if somebody gets hurt, you know, that's just great for the media, and they're gonna fuck us over. The media is gonna fuck the paintball sport over, and every time they write a story, they're pretty much telling that field over, bend over. You know, they're not helping that field. They're just screwing us over. You know what? It's bad. Don't use CO2. If you can help it, you can really help not using CO2, then don't use CO2. Like, really, that's all I'm going to say. If you can help not using CO2, then don't use CO2. If your field allows you to borrow an HVA tank, then borrow an HVA tank. If you pay an extra $5, you pay the extra $5. Because you could be, well, first of all, you get an advantage over CO2. Because, another thing, when you keep shooting, okay, pressure drops. Well, CO2, the air pressure drops faster, when you keep shooting. It's like, it chills. So the tank chills, then the air pressure is going to drop. So, the more you shoot, the more the tank's going to chill. That's what you want. So your tank's the more your tank chills, the more you're gonna be down to like 500 psi. You're not gonna be able to operate this. Yeah, you could probably operate on a Smart Parts Vibe or SP1, but no, you need custom. No, you can't do that. It's not gonna work out that way. I'll have to tell you that right now. It's not gonna work out. But you know, you got pressurized gas. The more, if you're on like 40-degree weather up in New York State, then you're gonna be out there for like 5 to 6 minutes out there in the field, and you're gonna be out of paint. Or you're gonna be out of air. On maybe like a 16-ounce CO2 tank. Maybe. If it's like 40-degree weather, it's really cold out. Maybe. I know I know what I'm saying. It's facts, but it doesn't always happen to everybody. But it is true. My friend Danny, the same kid, he was using CO2. He brought a CO2 tank because he didn't have an HVA tank at the time. I had an HVA tank at the time. Well, I didn't have this tank. I had a 48-3000. He was using CO2 on his 98. And what happened is that he left the CO2 tank out in the sun, and the actual thing blew a burst disc, and it bled out like crazy, and the whole tank was like covered in ice, absolutely covered in ice. That's the problem with CO2 tanks. Like, you can use this in minus 10-degree weather, it'll work fine. You use a CO2 tank in minus 10-degree weather, you get at least 20 to 30 shots. You know, you use a response trigger, maybe 10. You know, you get as many shots as you'll get on a CO2 cartridge with a 98 with response. Maybe you'll get a little bit more if you're using a regulator. Now, I don't know what the myth is with using CO2. I mean, using a regulator on a response trigger. I don't think you can. I'm not really sure though. Not really sure. I think it would take the air that needs to go through here. Yeah, that needs to fire the gun. Not fair though. Not very fair. You know. Get my little pointer here. Bend over, bitch. Yeah, let me try something. Here, let's screw the 98 over. But you guys, if you don't want to watch, you guys can like just click off the video and just watch something different now, because I'm just gonna scroll off. Oh yeah, screw the 98. Screw it, baby. Screw it. Come on, baby. Screw it. I'm screwing you. I'm screwing you. I'm screwing you over, man. I'm screwing you over, yeah. That's really cool. I'm screwing the 98, man. I'm screwing the 98. I'm screwing the 98, man. I'm screwing. And this is gonna be inappropriate sound. Oh yeah. No, I'm not gay.